Welcome to the Joy Work Show, the podcast that goes beyond the surface of business, right to the heart, to explore the real joy and the stories behind success. Not just the moments of celebration, but the challenges that paved the way for them. Hiya, I'm Diane, and here we know that joy isn't just about the good times. Often the greatest joy comes right after the greatest challenge. And today I'm joined by Daniella Paolozzi for a conversation that feels especially relevant in a very noisy 2026 digital world. Daniella has spent, like me, the last 20 plus years working in marketing. And in this episode, we explore how her journey has evolved from traditional marketing, agency-based marketing, into a much more intentional, personal, and human approach. We talk about authenticity, personalisation, and why standing out doesn't always mean shouting louder online. We also dive into Daniella's work with direct mail and why it may just be becoming powerful again in a digital-first landscape, and how eco-conscious choices, lived experiences, and values-led decisions shape the way that we market and communicate. This conversation is about more than tactics. It's about legacy, connection, and choosing to do business in a way that actually feels good. But as always, it's so much better to hear from the guests themselves. So let's go. Hi, Daniella, and welcome to the Joy Work Show. I am so delighted to have you here today, and the exciting bit is I get to find out all about you exactly the same time as everybody else. This is fast becoming my favourite way to meet people because I get to know everything. So tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how you got here.
Sure. So I'm Daniella Paolozzi. Hello. I am a marketeer. I'm a businesswoman. I run a few businesses. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about, one of my latest businesses is a bit random, actually, but it's handwritten, eco-friendly direct mail.
Wow.
Yeah, totally random. There's not too much of that about. I don't think there's any about actually, but yeah, it's kind of stemmed from my career in marketing. I've worked in marketing for a long time, starting to get to the point where I sort of forget how long, uh, but probably nearly 20 years odd. But yeah, I lived my life. I've worked for different agencies, working on projects for like Heat Magazine and Ministry of Sound. Gosh, we've done some stuff for Harrods and stuff. And I've worked for small businesses as a marketing manager. And then I think I was about 27 and I went, nope, not doing this anymore. I'm doing this for myself. And, I launched a marketing company. And I think this is sort of, it sounds super, super old school, right? It sounds like handwritten letters, like what? But I think as we've kind of progressed down this whole AI thing that is so exciting right now, and for the record, I'm not against AI. Like I love it. I've got collect it like Pokemon. I love it. But I think with that, all of the templates that are coming across when you're trying to promote your business, there's so much of it. And obviously we've got ChatGPT, so we've got accessibility to put out content like never before. Like people that aren't necessarily marketing agencies have got, this technology. And one of the things that I've noticed in my career is that getting noticed is so hard. It's so much harder. Like, I don't know. I don't know about you with what you do, Diane,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's just, and it's that thing, isn't it? I think it's a real topic in 2026
Mm,
about how are we going to, are digital courses still going to be a thing? Is that still a
mm,
thing in the online space? How do we do social media? How do we stand out? What's AI
mhm,
and what isn't? And it's, there is a bit of a rage about it,
mm,
that people like, lots of things about AI I love, lots of things about AI I don't love, but I was also a teenager in the kind of internet coming of age. And I
mhm.
remember, parents, grandparents like, oh, it won't catch on and it won't stay and it
Yeah.
won't do all these things. And it did and it does. And there's lots of things I love about the internet and,
Mm,
thank goodness we have it. But of course, all these things have dark sides and everything else. So, but I
Mm,
think in the online space specifically, it is how do you get seen? How do you stand out? And
mm.
there's just too many cookie cutter approaches, too many, and we can get the information from AI, and AI can strengthen. I use AI in all of my content strategy now,
Mm, mm,
but it's me. It's
mm.
not AI, it's not copy and pasting, it's not, it just speeds things up for me
Yeah,
because I'm not a content strategist. That's not what I'm here to do, but I need to market myself. So I do think
exactly.
it is an incredibly noisy space.
Mm.
But yeah, it's something everybody has to do. My background is direct sales in the home improvement industry for 20 odd years.
No way! I did that as one of my first jobs, seriously.
You probably worked for one of the firms that I was part of, and that was me for. So I was marketing and direct sales for
Nice.
20 odd years, and then I left 2 years ago. Had babies, and direct sales just doesn't really suit having babies. So
Yeah,
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 I left, and I thought, and I think it always in the back of my head wanted to do my own thing.
yeah.
Obviously, what I'm now doing, but it's that there's, you know, when I speak to my dad who was in direct sales marketing, he's like, I can't believe all of the things you have at your fingertips for free. Like it blows his mind. And then he's like, in my day, if we had had that, you know, we would have had a field day with it. But I think,
Exactly.
unfortunately, with more things that come with free attached to it, there's
Mm.
more choice, there's more options, and there's
It's
more knowledge.
overload.
Yeah.
It's total digital overload, and I'm sure you and I will have a little chat after this about
Yes.
what we shouldn't know about windows, doors, and driveways, hey?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But what I think it does, I mean, you're right, it speeds things up. But the thing is, we are experiencing a generation like never before. So whilst you can put stuff out there, we're also getting this digital fatigue. I don't know about you, but when we both look at our phones after this, we're going to have how many emails, how many notifications? It's constant. I think from this, I wanted to kind of think outside the box a little bit, which I like to do quite a bit. I mean, I've got bright pink hair, for goodness sake, and gummy bear earrings, which I'm quite enjoying today. But, you know, I think that when it comes to a marketing perspective, back in the day, I worked for a publishers for 4 years. And we were supporting a project where we had to build a very big sort of community. Probably shouldn't go too much into it, but we built a page of 10,000 followers on Facebook in like a week. Now it's expensive and everybody is trying to do the same thing. So I was thinking, let's do something different. And I sort of took myself back to before AI, you know, like my parents used to come back from work and there'd be a load of direct mail there, and it would just go in the bin. So this is not about like putting out a load of spam. This is not what this is about at all. But one thing I did also remember about that time was I had a pen pal. Like, I don't know where they are now and what they're doing. I mean, I hope they're okay. But I remember that it's kind of a nostalgic thing, the art of writing a letter. So I thought, how can we use this personable, this positive spark that we get from something like writing a letter in marketing? So I did some local stuff for one of my clients because I work in marketing and web as well as having the direct mail business. It worked brilliantly. And I was like, why is this working brilliantly? And you know what it's like when you work in
Yeah.
sales and marketing, you're like trying to measure everything. Like, so I was testing different handwriting styles, I was testing different messages. And one of the things that came through, and I think probably gelled with the sort of personality that I have, is just to be human. Like, don't draft a corporate pitch and expect somebody to really believe in what you're doing. You have to speak from the soul and you have to speak in a way that you would speak to a human, hopefully, like I'm talking to you now, you know?
Uh,
And yeah, so my mission has been to not only look at doing this locally, but also working with some quite large businesses as well to be able to get personalized messaging across with a letter, with something you're not expecting to land, like something that actually gives you dopamine rather than this whole cortisol culture that we're in at the moment of constant notifications.
Yeah.
It's just draining, right?
It absolutely is. And it's so funny. Quite often in this podcast, there is a bit of serendipity that happens. And it seems to be whatever I was talking about the days leading up to it, we then talk about. So last night I was on
Mm,
a call and somebody was talking about the first business that they started
mm,
quite some time ago now, must be like 18 years ago, something like that, I think.
mm,
And they said that they built it on direct mail. So they had
mm.
built something that was a local service
Yeah.
and they had direct mail that went out. They had mail merge that went out to all of the local area, and that was their success story. Eventually,
Mm,
as all things do, that stopped working. So that's when they get into social
mm,
media. That started to grow and all of that. Because yeah, social media probably growth for local businesses. You are looking at probably 12 years ago.
mm,
So that's we're doing that. And the discussion we were having was if we brought back direct mail now. Now I still get the odd bit through my
mm,
door, but it's literally local takeaways and like check a trade and that type of thing. That's generally the thing that I get through my door now
mm,
because it got me thinking about, well, what have I seen come through my door that hasn't been a bill, in the last kind of week or so. And it was a really interesting conversation because I think where what we surmised was that if it was attractive, if it was
mm,
different, if it was stand out, there's a real opportunity now because it is different. It is not what we're used to. It is not a notification on our phones. It is not another email to read and get
mm,
back to when you find time. I mean, the amount of emails I've got in my inbox right now that I know I need to do something with, and not even just business ones, but
yeah.
school ones and things that oh yeah, I did want that product, but I need to look into it. And it just goes down, you're just so busy. And then before you know it, weeks have passed and you haven't dealt with it and you've missed the offer or whatever it was that you were interested in the first
Mm,
place. So what we surmised was that direct mail really could be a brand new in almost, because there'll also be
yeah.
people that don't even know that this thing existed. And yes, there'll still be people who have don't put post through my box stickers like they had, no cold callers, no leaflets type thing on their
Yeah.
door. But that's not your ideal client and that's not everybody.
No.
Just like some people won't be on Facebook and some will be on Instagram and all the other arguments you could have about that. But I think
Mm.
that direct mail could have an insurgence.
I feel like it is, and we've certainly noticed it. I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years now, I think, and the amount of people that are coming to me for this service, it's like, you know, with with fashion trends, right? We're seeing this like Y2K, you're bringing like
Yeah,
flares back and stuff
yeah.
like that. You probably remember going to school and you've got the swish, swish, swish of your flares. It comes back around, and I feel like we've been through this whole journey, as you say, with social media. And I'm not saying that that's not useful. Of course it is.
No.
It's about having an integrated strategy. But I also think that rather than, although we can do like flyer drops for local builders and stuff like that, we've done that, it works very well. But where we've seen the most success is from targeting people we actually want to speak to. So, for example, making a list on LinkedIn of all of the people that you want to connect with and writing them a letter, you know, something that means something to them. And, you can make it kind of bespoke, and you can have some things that are different across different industries. But if you're putting like a first class or a second class stamp on it and it's coming through their mail and it looks like this is for them, and you have taken the time and the care to put that
Mm.
together, or, ask one of our specialists to, then it hits differently than something that's blanketed. We love this idea of personalization nowadays. And if it's done well, of course, not
Yeah,
in a spam
absolutely.
way.
Well, it's that thing, isn't it? It's like when I was saying talking about the direct mail thing last night, but it has
Yeah.
to stand out now. It has to be different because we have learned and we are smarter and we have more tools and we have learned so much over the years from when those direct mail merges would have been the hot thing then.
Mm,
And people, the one thing that has come from social media and the busyness of life is people have higher expectations.
they do.
So to
They do.
get their attention, whether it is through a social media ad or a lovely personalized letter coming through their door, you need to grab them. You will have 3 seconds either way with
Mm.
whatever they're looking at, whatever they see, you will have 3 seconds to get their attention. Somebody will probably tell me after this podcast episode it's even less now, but,
Mm.
you have very little time to get that attention, so what could you do? And I know we all still do it with our posts, that when we get the things through, you look through and you
Yeah.
kinda hope there's something more exciting than your water bill, you know?
Yeah.
So, and if there is, what do? You open it.
Yeah.
And it's that intrigue.
There's like less tolerance for bullshit nowadays. If
Mhm.
you get someone that says, I'm going to sell you something, what do? You run away. You don't want to be sold to. Like, you want to make decisions on your terms. And I'm exactly the same as a consumer. I don't want people, cold calling me when I've got like a podcast on, a meeting on, or whatever it is. And I think the way that we deliver value is expected now. So if there's something that you're offering that is genuinely going to benefit that person, like you've got a legitimate interest to offer them, whether that's God, it could be all sorts of things. And like you say, it might be a course, it could be all sorts of things, but it has to be valuable, not just, hey, buy my stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what type of people are doing this, or who do you think, or do you really think it is like a mass market thing that anybody could tag it into their business as part, like you say, of a combined strategy for their marketing?
Yeah, sure. So there's a few ways to kind of work it. It depends what your objectives are as to how this works. So we've got people that are coming to us for cold campaigns. They're picking who they want to speak to. We're sort of writing something, some sort of an introduction, making it relatable, making it human, making it, as I say, value driven. But then we've got people that just want to say thank you. So smaller businesses or even larger businesses that have got a retail product that say, hey, you're doing great on this subscription. Here's an extra 10% off if you want to stay with us. It'd be great if we could see pictures of your journey. I'm thinking of some of the wellness products that we've got that we're helping here. But also, like in agencies, like if you've got a lead and it's gone a little bit cold, there's that idea of reciprocity as well. So I'm a big fan of just chucking a big bar of chocolate in it because people love chocolate. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you
Exactly.
give something, then people are going to be like, oh, okay, they've taken the time to give me this. Maybe I should stop ignoring them and stop ghosting them and get back to them. But industry wise, I mean, it can go across. We've done work with charities, estate agents, business brokers, even people doing podcasts
Yeah.
have contacted us about this. It's really quite varied, as you can imagine. And I'm sure you get a lot of different types of people that you're connected with. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful things out there that we can utilize. I mean, it's just communication, isn't it? So when it is communication, I suppose you can use it for anything. But yeah, I'd probably say those accountants as well with new startup businesses. So my website company, I use it for that. I've had about I only sent a couple because, well, I'm going to say a couple, sent about 300 and I've had
Uh-huh.
about 7 responses. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to send too many more because this time of year is crazy. But yeah, it can work for a lot of different things. But what I try to do is not just say, hey, take this service. I like to help people with it. So understand their brands, coming from a marketing background and direct sales background like yourself, is about being able to offer an idea that from the testing that I've done and from my experience, I think is actually going to work, you know?
Yeah,
So, yeah, call me antagonistic, but if someone sends a pitch and I don't think it's going to work, I'm going to go, but we could have this in here. So,
absolutely. So obviously you mentioned that it was eco as well. So is that
mm,
been an important element for you?
hugely important. So this is one of the things when I started thinking about direct mail, both as a person, I like to think that ethics are a big part of my makeup. Like, don't be an asshole. Like it's
Yeah.
not difficult to
No,
live
it's
by.
not hard. Some people make it
For
look
some,
incredibly hard, but
yeah.
it isn't a hard thing, no.
Yes, I was sort of thinking about direct mail, and obviously the the planet has got its issues. We know it's got its issues. So I was thinking, how can we do this, but in a way that doesn't take from the planet? So I started to do a lot of investigations about carbon footprints and things like that. And one of the decisions that we made was to use recycled materials. So if you're writing a letter, it doesn't mean it's going to be like craft paper. You can still have white paper that's recycled. But then going down the whole rabbit hole as I normally do, went completely over the top with it. Now we've got like hemp paper, cotton paper, rag paper, all these different really cool materials. I think we even looked at like elephant poo paper,
Yeah.
which is a very, very niche market. We've even got paper that plants wildflowers and stuff like that. So the paper was one of the things, but obviously there's every business, no matter what you're doing, is still gonna, is still going to require you to do that little bit more. So one of the things that we do is we plant lots and lots of trees. We have 2,400 with one company called Gift a Tree. Where they plant them in Madagascar, like fruit trees and stuff. We also did something with Fruitopi, which is a really cool organization that supports like villagers with, again, planting sort of fruit trees. And we got them to name it the Penwritten Post Magical Guava Tree. So that actually exists in Madagascar now. And what else do we do? We support Tree Sisters as well, which are a group of women that do some awesome, awesome work in replanting and reforestation. But as you know, as a woman, we don't always get paid a fair wage, but that's what these women are doing, but also getting paid a fair wage for, which is, I mean, it's hard in the UK, let alone anywhere else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that's another thing that we like to do to make sure that whatever we're putting out there isn't just carbon neutral, but carbon negative as well. And everything we do, we try to use recycled materials, and all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Amazing. So you actually, I've missed a bit. You've actually handwrite every letter.
Okay, so I probably have early onset arthritis if I did that, but I had a bit of help. So I spent quite a while investigating CNC machines because, I work for publishers and working in marketing. So we actually have lots of machines that hold a real biro because you don't want to, it's not like printed trickery. You want to make sure that it's, got an indentation on it. It feels like a real letter. And what we do is we then design that so that it like naturally wobbles, just like
Oh,
you would write. So it all stems from real handwriting.
yeah.
But when we're talking about sending, I mean, some
Well,
of our
I was
campaigns,
beginning to think, I was like, she's just mentioned biros. I just how you actually handwrite in every letter.
the
That
real pens,
yeah.
yeah, we recycle them afterwards. But yeah, no, that would be too hectic. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it's probably given me a few grey hairs. That's why my hair's pink. But trying to make tech do so because we are living in the AI automation era, of course we are, and it's about being able to use technology to work smarter, but also for good, So yeah, it's so we can produce those on scale. We have a sort of production team working with that, but yeah, a lot of heart and soul goes into every one. But I think just the letter will get you seen. Like it's not something that is going to do your pitch for you. Your pitch is what matters, and your value is what matters.
Mhm. But the fact that if somebody was to choose something like this tells you a lot about them as a brand. You know,
Exactly.
it's part of the story, it's part of the brand identity, it's part of
Mm,
their whole makeup. So it already begins to tell that story because you don't want to do there's that many forms of marketing. You want to make sure it is aligned, like you say, with your values, with who you are as a brand, with what you know. And the fact that you have done it from an eco point of view means that if there is an eco-friendly or a sustainable brand or a B Corp brand out there that's thinking it's amazing, but actually, how could we do that? Saying that we're B Corp and we're this, well, actually, you've put all the things in place. This is still something that they could do, and they
mm,
see it. So again, it lends to their story. You see so many people like slap sustainable on
yeah,
as
greenwashing.
and
Yeah.
then they're just not. You can see as soon as you look at packaging or how they're doing something or that's not sustainable at all. It's not,
Mm,
don't say you're something that you clearly aren't. And I think a lot of people see that as their marketing. Well, if I say I'm sustainable, that's part of my message.
yeah.
There's so much more than just the word.
Yeah.
So much you have to live and breathe that as a business. And this is a way of marketing that kind of does that for them if that's what, if it fits the strategy for them.
course. And I think that, like, this is not about greenwashing at all. And I do see it. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that with this, it's about trying to give marketing departments and business owners another option, because there is FSC certified paper where they plant more trees and stuff. Of course there is, but we try to use recycled wherever possible. And one of the things that was really important to me, because this is a huge part, whether we like it or not, like corporate social responsibility is part of a tick box exercise. But if ticking that box means that we're doing something to help them achieve that, then that's what we're here to support. But as you say, it's about doing it genuinely and not just whacking green on it. But we do offer like logos and things that people can put on the letters and also on their websites and social media, just to say, hey, I'm picking a good thing,
It's
you
totally
know.
important if they're doing it, that's the
Yeah,
important thing, and as I say, there'll be so many brands who are completely doing it and are, you
good.
know, got all of the, as I say, could be B Corp brands, could be, that type of thing, and they are doing it, living, breathing it, and this is a way of them adding something creative and beautiful to their marketing
Yeah, yeah,
without them having to worry about that having an effect on their carbon neutrality and what they are trying to do within the world. And I think that's for you to
yeah.
have seen that and work and made that part of your brand identity is kind of really, really important for the success of it. So
Cool, thank you.
to go back a step, so obviously you had a corporate private sector career and then you went out on your own. Why did you do that?
Just a bit of a rebel, I guess. No. I mean, I earn a lot of money for a lot of people, and I think that when all of us, when we decide that we wanna take that leap, we want something for ourselves. We want something that is fundamentally us, and we can do things the way that we do them. And, I didn't always see eye to eye with some of my managers, and they'll probably tell you that. I think that it was really important to me to do something for myself. But I think Penwritten Post, which is the business we're talking about, kind of came about after a bit of adversity, really. So when COVID hit in 2020, around March time, I was running my agency. Things were going well. I'd just been like traveling in Thailand, Sri Lanka, and all these beautiful places, Malaysia, and then came back, and it's like, bam, you've lost all of your ITV contracts because of COVID. And then it was like, bam, you've got cancer as well, just to, put that little extra cherry on it. I mean, I'm fine now. I've just had my 5 years all clear. So,
Congratulations,
and all,
amazing.
thank you, thank you. But when I went through that, I got rushed in for like major operation. They removed a 20 centimeter tumor. It was a whole load of recovery and craziness during like COVID. And I was sort of faced with this chance that I could not be here, and I was only like 30, 32, 33. I know I can't do maths right now, but yeah, I was younger than you'd expect for something like that. And I was sort of faced with my own mortality and the fact that I might have to not be here. And then, like, because, I mean, it was ovarian cancer, I was trying for children, I now can't have children. I'm not sure if I dodged a bullet or not, we'll see. But, yeah, I was faced with this, okay, if I am not gonna have children to leave a legacy, what positivity am I gonna be leaving behind? So I started to donate to a lot of charities. I sponsored, a young girl over in Ethiopia, and I started just do a bit of fucking good in the world, you know what I mean? And just to try and when I leave this world, I wanna look back and say, "Do you know what? I did everything that I wanted to do, but also, I can leave this world as a good person, I guess."
Mhm.
So, I then started to think, I watched this program, I don't know if you saw it, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, it was on Netflix, but it was all about the rubbish, that's been put
Yes,
out into the world, but the
yeah,
handbags, right? Did you
yes.
watch it?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, they're
our cheap
smashing the
fashion.
handbags.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I watched that, and it was just like, how many pop-up banners have I made that are just in landfill right now? Like, how
Mhm.
much foiled stuff that I've done in my career. Yeah, I felt a bit crap about it, really. And I was like, I want to fix this because we can't all be perfect human beings. I'm not saying to everyone to do absolutely everything eco-friendly. It's about making conscious decisions and trying to do the right thing, I guess. And that's how this kind of came about because I wanted to use what I knew worked for my clients, marketing departments, businesses, charities, and yeah, just try and give something back. And we donate a portion to Cancer Research UK as well, because hey, life at Olympia, I'm still alive, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But the work that they do, I mean, I went through chemotherapy, I lost my hair, I lost people, that I was sitting there having chats with in chemo, some of them not here now, and I just want to try and eradicate that as much as I possibly can by
Yeah,
giving something back.
absolutely. Well, thank goodness and congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your 5 years. That is really something. What always stands out to me in this podcast, and I think it's happened in all of them, apart from maybe one or two, there's always a kind of traumatic event or life event
Mm,
that sends people in a different trajectory. It's like almost, and it also doesn't surprise me that so far it's been all women on this podcast, not out of any
mm,
intent, just the way it's happened.
mm.
And yeah, exactly. I think the joy might put men off, but, we'll see. But it doesn't surprise me either that as women in the business space, in the entrepreneurial space, we need that push.
Mm,
We need that breaking point. It's almost like that's where we find our strength, that's where we find our focus, that's where
mm,
that's when we decide that this is it, I'm doing it for myself, and I'm doing it because I didn't think I was gonna be here again. Mine was, I became a mum, and I
mm,
became a mum after not thinking that I could have kids, and then it happened, and COVID, weirdly, and that was my story, and then I had 2 wee girls within 19 months, and I was just like, "This is,"
wow,
I
that's
you know
awesome.
yeah, this is it, this is it, I need to do it for
Mm,
them, I want to be there, I wanna see them. If I'd
yeah,
gone back to
yeah.
my private sector career, I was doing like 60, 70, 80-hour weeks. I
Mm,
wouldn't have seen them, or I would have had to go part-time.
mm,
The job I was doing wasn't really a part-time job. It's not about my employers not being flexible, it was just that job would have been incredibly difficult to do. So, and it's just I see this over and over again that it takes this life event, or quite often a trauma, that pushes us into a space of either owning our life and doing what we've always wanted,
mm,
or making a different choice, because there has
mm,
to be more out there. And I guess that's, the joy, and what's great about your story is that before we came onto this podcast, you said you loved that joy was all over everything that I do. And naturally, I say this a lot in the podcast, so if you listen to every episode, you'll be so used to it. But I'm not a naturally joyful person. I am
okay.
not naturally like Little Miss Buoyant. I'm much more Little Miss. How are we going to get there? How much is it going to cost? When are we going to do? What could go wrong? I think that's going to happen. I think that thing's going to go wrong. I'm much more that person than I am the kind of, oh, let's just have fun and let's just see. Good. But
It can't be false joy though, can
no, it
it?
can't be forced
It's
joy.
yin and yang, and this is what you're talking about, right? It's about going through difficulty to be able to find the light as well, and we have to have a balance of that. And if we're just going
Absolutely.
through life like it doesn't work like that. Shit happens. Stuff's gonna rile you. Stuff's gonna affect you. And I think that what we're talking about here is resilience.
Yes.
And you can only become resilient to something and build those mechanisms of coping by going through a shit time. So you
Yeah.
can't have one without the other. You can
Exactly.
still be joyful
Exactly.
without being like that all the
Exactly.
time.
And this is what I always say about joy. I'm like, joy, to go after your joy, to stand up
Mm,
in front of the world and say, no matter what you all think, whether you're with me or against me, this is
mm,
where my joy is, and this is what I'm going to do.
mm,
It's the
mm.
bravest thing you can do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's lots of people out there that be like, oh, joy, you need more joy in your life. And if a cup of tea is your joy, and don't get me wrong, a cup of tea is absolutely one of my joys. But it oversimplifies it for me. Like joy, like you said,
Mm,
it's resilience. For me, joy's grit.
mm,
Joy is
mm.
the stuff that you go through and then you get to the good bit.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
feel like I get joy when I deal with a situation that maybe I wouldn't have been able to deal with before, or would have dealt with not as good as what I can now. Because like now I don't sweat the small stuff. So before something would like make me super anxious and I'd be like winding myself up over it. And it's like, hey, you don't have cancer, it could be worse.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and that brings me joy because it means that I've got a strength to be able to. I mean, we're all on this planet to just try and evolve as humans, and do some good stuff for both ourselves, our families, our friends, whatever it might be. And yeah, it's to be able to draw from that and learn from that. I think is joyous.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as you know, I ask everybody 3 joy questions who come on the podcast. You do get
Mhm.
to see them before you come on. I am kind. And so we'll start with the first one, which is the joy spotlight, a favorite thing that has shaped your life, business, or work.
Yeah, sure. So one of my favorite things, I think I've kind of spoken about it a little bit already, but having that authenticity about yourself and the confidence to be able to do it. So when I first started my career as a young marketeer, I don't know, you're nervous. You kind of want to fit in and you've got this idea of what a business person should be like. And I think that one of the things that really shaped me was understanding and accepting myself that if I want to rock up to a meeting with my gummy bear earrings and pink hair and talk about, all the nonsense that comes out of my mouth, which I quite enjoy, people do like that. They like the authenticity. And, I think I've always been a headstrong person, but never have I before been fully free from judgment and expectations. And there's a lot of pressure, especially looking back at the industry that we were both in a male dominated environment, right? And I think that being able to just be yourself, and if you've got something to say, just fucking say it. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the most liberating things that anybody can go through, and I suppose that comes through all sorts of things, age, experience, I don't know, but yeah, just being able to be authentic, and if I wanna drench myself in dopamine then I'll bloody do it, and the right people will come along, and your vibe attracts your tribe, but don't be shy, you don't have to live life in a navy suit, you know what I mean?
That's it, and when I started in the online space, and because I had been in a male-dominated industry, and I felt
Mm,
that so not towards the end of my career, because I think with age comes the confidence to realise, but
mm,
certainly because I started my career as a young 20-year-old and quite quickly was at, like, quite senior level. So then
mm,
you think to keep up, you have to be one of the boys, that's how you have to act, that's how you have to and I could
mm,
hold like,
mm,
headstrong, could hold my own, no problem at all, but then you suddenly think, "Is that who I am? Like, is
mm,
that really who I am?" And throughout the career, as I got a little bit older, I then realised things I would put up with and things I wouldn't put up with and who I wanted
mm.
to be, but when I left, I was like, "Well, I can finally step into the feminine, and I can finally step into" but I actually realised after a while that I'd been running so far away from the kinda masculine identity that some of that was still me, and the real me
Yeah,
and the authentic me, but I was running so far in the opposite direction that
mm,
I was then like, "Actually, they can both exist." You
yeah.
know, I
We
can
are a balance of both
yeah,
completely, and just
can
because you're feminine doesn't mean that you need to be subservient, and there's this whole
no,
thing about gender roles, it's crazy, isn't it?
it's completely crazy, whereas, like, I can be female, I can be headstrong, I can
Mm,
be loving, I can be empathetic, I can talk
mm,
sales and money, I can do it
yeah,
all. And
yeah,
that's okay as long as you say it comes from that authentic space. I'm not trying to fit into any of those molds. It's just
mm.
who I am. And actually, I believe that being empathetic is the best way to make sales and money.
It is.
You know, so and it's just but it took me a little while to kind of find that balance, and realizing that identity,
Mm,
because before you can be authentic, you have to kinda know what your identity is and who
exactly.
you are and believe it yourself. And I
Mm,
think that's one of the things that people find incredibly difficult.
I love to see that, I'm loving your vibe, Diane.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay, the second one is inspired by joy, a book or mentor who just stays with you.
Yeah, so this one was really difficult actually because there's so much inspiration everywhere, like, there's so hard to pick.
And it
Um,
changes, right? It changes depending on, like, the book you read or the people
yeah.
you meet or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Completely, completely. But I think that because I am an ENFP, I suppose one of the things that powers me is people with something to say, but with big hearts that like do things for good. You know, they've got strong opinions, possibly quite like myself, you know. But as some of the people that I have written down was Dolly Parton,
Yeah.
vastly successful. She just does the right thing when nobody's looking, you know? I saw something that said that she never wanted to be a billionaire because it was like a failure of
Mhm.
being human, and I guess that always stuck with me, and plus Dolly Parton, right?
Well, there's no reason for anybody to be a billionaire, is there? Just, like, give it away.
No.
There's
Yeah,
no reason for it at all. Be a
exactly.
millionaire, fine,
Yeah.
no problem, enjoy your life, earned it, deserve it. But a billionaire? Really?
It seems excessive when you look at everything that's going on in the world, and I think that's another person will probably be Billie Eilish because did she, like,
Yeah.
recently call out a
She
whole
did,
room
in
full
a
of
whole room, and
billionaires?
I think she
Love
said
her for
something
that.
along those lines of, like, "You should be ashamed of yourself. There is no
Yeah,
reason to have that amount of money when you
yeah,
could
she was
do so
calling
much
out
with
wealth
it."
hoarding. Yeah, she was, and I think people like that are just that have something to say, but as I say, not just say it for the sake of it, but do something positive. And I think Pink's been great at that. I don't know about you, but I've been
Yeah,
listening to her for years. Absolutely adore the woman. She's just like take no prisoners, full force of this is who I am, and she's
absolutely.
empowered so many people. I mean, I've seen her a couple of times. I saw her at Wembley fly through the sky. I mean, she's fucking insane, but
Amazing.
love her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the people like that, and also, I mean, even like some of the newcomers, you've got people like Youngblood. I don't know if you're familiar,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's kind of jumped onto the scene after singing at the Ozzy Osbourne gig, and
yeah.
I've been watching him, and he's kind of doing a tour in Australia at the moment, and whenever I see him, he's just so human, so
Mhm.
vulnerable, but in the right ways, but also doing some good and doing some good for his community and having something to say. And I think as you experience things very much like what we've been talking about, and you kind of make that part of you and try to help other people, we all pull from that and it helps us to be better people and be able to shine our lights. You know, it's work when you work together and sort of go about inspiring each other, doing a bit of good. And I just think it just makes for a much better world, doesn't it?
Absolutely,
So yeah,
absolutely. Now you
yeah,
said
hope for people.
ENFP. What do you mean by that?
Oh, okay. So there are like loads of personality types when you look at Myers-Briggs. So
Okay.
I think there's okay, you're testing me now. I think there's like 13 different personality types, but check it out after this. There's a website. I think it's 13 personalities it's called. But you just do this whole thing about how you respond to situations, the type
Yeah.
of person that you are, and it will it's scarily accurate. I mean, obviously it's never completely you can't put people
No.
in
Yeah,
13
yeah, yeah.
boxes, but it gives you a good idea of what you're dealing with. So mine was ENFP, but check it out afterwards. It's really
I
interesting.
will. I will. I will have a look. I will have a look. Marvelous. Okay. And the last one is the joy killer, the thing you would like to see removed from the world.
Yeah, so all of the rubbish that's in the oceans, get that out of there. We need we need that gone. As a business owner, that's certainly something that I've been trying to push. And this isn't about, as I say, making people feel shame or saying, "Oh, you've not done this, you've not done that." Just trying to do the right thing when you can. But I also said that what I was going to put in there in getting rid of is my partner putting on certain music at 2 a.m. when we're trying to enjoy ourselves. Like, don't get me wrong, Radiohead, amazing, but don't put it on at 2 a.m., babe. Everyone's enjoying themselves. Please stop that. I put it out into
You
the internet now. It needs to happen.
actually made me laugh out loud because my best friend is like, you only like the sad songs.
You as well. I know. Stop it. Make it
No, no,
stop.
I do like a dance, and I do like, but every now and it's got to be something that moves me. So there is like, I do like a sad song. I do like, not quite as sad as Radiohead, maybe,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
Jeff
I can do a
Buckley
bit of
sad,
Celine
maybe.
Dion at like after a few glasses of
No,
wine at 3 a.m., but no.
but yeah, I am known for that. If it's my choice of music, it's like, oh, here's
Yeah.
with her sad songs. You know, I think I could be a country girl at heart. Going back to Dolly Parton, I think that
Yeah.
there's not many happy country songs out there. Okay, so people want to find you. Where do they come and find all about the fabulous things that you're doing?
Lovely. So if you want to find me, I'm on LinkedIn, Daniella Paolozzi, and also we've got websites. Handwrittenpost.co.uk is our main website for the handwritten direct mail. I also run websitedoctors.co.uk as well, because we obviously do marketing and digital as well with renewable servers, might I add. But yeah, come find me. Love
Fabulous.
that.
All the links will be in the show notes. Everyone can just go and click away and come and find you.
Amazing.
Now, before you go, I
Mm,
always ask everybody one final question. And
go
that is,
on.
and this is going to be an interesting one for you to answer because I think you've answered quite a lot of it already. But what is
Mm.
the joy legacy that you would like to leave behind?
The joy legacy. Oh, that's a good one. I would like to leave behind not to take life too seriously. Like, I've done some ridiculous shit in my time, and I want to see more people doing ridiculous shit. You always regret the stuff that you didn't do. But yeah, I think just, yeah, that would be it.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Well, one thing's for sure, we're not going to be on our deathbeds worrying and thanking ourselves for all the stuff that we bought or the stuff that we had. It's going to be the things that we did and the people that we loved, I think. So
Definitely,
take
definitely.
anything from that today, it would be that. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today,
you.
Daniela.
Thanks for
I have
having me.
thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Brilliant.
I hope today's conversation got you thinking a little bit differently about the marketing in your business, and maybe you might now have a new approach. But as we wrap up this conversation, I want to leave you with 3 takeaways that really stood out for me. First, that authenticity isn't a marketing trend. It's a commitment to showing up honestly, even when it would be easier to blend in. And the authenticity isn't just about social media. It's about the way that your content across all of your business and all the ways you speak to your prospective and your current clients and customers matters. Second, that meaningful connection cuts through noise better than any algorithm, any social media trends, any hack ever will. Whether online or offline, people remember how you made them feel. And third, the legacy you build isn't just about what you sell. It's about the choices you make, the values you stand by, and the impact you are leaving behind through every conversation, communication, and transaction. If this episode has you thinking differently about how you communicate, connect, or market your work, take that as an invitation to slow down and be more intentional. Take the space to think about what your marketing looks like next. Thank you so much for listening to the Joy Work Show. I would love for you to take this opportunity to come and subscribe wherever you are listening to or watching us. It takes you 2 seconds, is completely free, but makes the biggest difference to us getting the Joy Work Show out there. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next episode.